Hey guys, it's Dr. Tom with EBM Fitness Solutions, and in this video we're going to look at some dumbbell Romanian deadlifts, some dumbbell RDLs, and we're going to talk about kind of some finer points of the technique and how to make sure you're doing them properly. When done correctly, they're great hamstring exercise. When done incorrectly, they can wreck your back pretty easily. One of the things to think about with RDLs, deadlifts, squats, planks, push-ups, pretty much any exercise, is think about if you had to hold this stick on your back, right? So if I pull this thing here, okay, it touches the back of my head, in between my shoulder blades, and right down by my tailbone. And if I move properly, I should be able to go through this motion and not lose contact. If I round my back, I lose the head and the low back. If I arch too hard here, I lose the middle contact point. So if you think about that when you're doing the RDLs or other movements, it helps give you some frame of reference for where you're supposed to be. I use this guy a lot here with clients, and I actually will hold it on their back while they do things to give them that feedback about position. If their head comes forward, they can bring it back to the stick. If their low back moves or the upper back moves, they start to sense it so they know how to correct it. So although you can't do this and hold on to these guys at the same time, as a warm-up, or if you're learning the movement, grab something, hold it along the back, and just practice the movement and see how far into the movement you can get before you start to feel yourself coming away from the stick. So, with the dumbbell RDLs, what you want to do is you're going to grab your weights and find a comfortable spot. I would say in general, you want to keep them 45 or maybe on the side. Bringing them around here, it starts to pull you forward. We want to keep you back here more often than not, okay? So here's the deal. Grab your weights, slight bend in the knee, and don't go too crazy with your stance. Hip width is plenty for these. So here, I also recommend, although I have sneakers on, I typically have people do these without shoes on. Improves kind of somatosensory input from the feet. You can grab the floor a little bit better. So static movements like RDLs and deadlifts and squats, they're actually great to do without shoes on, so something to consider. Set my feet, slight knee bend, keep my abs tight, my shoulders are engaged throughout, and I push back, heels and hips. Dig my heels in, sit back through the hips, and then I come up. In general, the knees are a good landmark for range of motion. Most people will get somewhere around their knees. Some a little bit above, some a little bit below, but by that point, the hip is done moving. And the key, I'll show you from the side here, is to maximize hip motion and stay out of the spine. So again, slight knee bend, sit back, and then bring the hips forward. Sit back to the hips. So for me, right about there is as far as I'm going to go while staying out of my low back, and that's the key. If you go too far, you start to get into this, that's what makes the RDL or even a deadlift a dangerous exercise. It gets in there and then it can injure the low back. If you stay with good spinal mechanics and sitting back through the hips, RDLs and deadlifts and all the variations are actually great exercises to do as they strengthen the muscles in the posterior chain, glutes and hamstrings, but reinforce good lifting mechanics.